Her name is Lola, and she feels so fine. There we go. Her name is Lola, and she feels so fine. There you go. There we go. Bela Belarus. Hashtag trans nis the fuck. How do you spell Transnistria? I'm gonna tweet 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. I'm gonna tweet real quick because I gotta do it. Gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Oh, there we go. Transni these three. Ah, there you go. Post. All right, that's posted there. Go to profile. And put that there. Oh my god, I forgot to add it. I love it. I love it. I forgot to add the thing. Now we're gonna repost real quick. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now I gotta redo everything. It happens. It happens. It happens. You gotta, sometimes it happens. Now we're gonna repost real quick. Wait, you're welcome in. Alright, here we have it. There we go. Now we got it. Alright, pin profile, pin profile. There you go. Now we are good to go. Okay. Yes, sir, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here. Are we gonna get started? Are we gonna wait? You know what? We're just gonna wait. We can always repeat what we're saying. But yeah, here you go. Following a meeting earlier this week between Ukraine and Mongolia officials, the Supreme Council of Transnistria. And by the way, if you're wondering what Transnistria is, it is basically a communist union. It is basically the last country in the world still bearing the Soviet Union flag. It's kind of like a place when you go there, it's complete Soviet, and I think that's even the flag. They got the Soviet symbol on it, the sickle and the hammer. So yeah, but here you have it. We can continue to read on. Has called a special meeting on February the 28th, which is for me, it's in 6 days. No, sorry, 5 days. No, 6 days. 5 days. 5 days. Yeah, I'm stupid. For you guys, might still be 6 days, but yeah, consisting of all deputies in the Republic, which hasn't occurred since 2006, when the breakaway region of Transnistria passed a referendum to join the Russian Federation. There is a possibility that during this meeting, a referendum could be called official request the annexation of Transnistria by Russia. But another thing here that I want to point out here, because I got another one as well. Coming out here. Here we have it. Russia is receiving ballistic missiles. Oh, that's a long time ago. That's not even the one I wanted. That's. Oh, what didn't I? Oh no, I did. 1 second. I got it. Because I got it over here. Here we have it. Here's another version of it. So, on February the 28th, for the first time in 18 years, Transnistria will hold a Congress of deputies of the so-called Prednestrovian Moldovan Republic, PMR. The opposition believes that at the meeting, they will ask Putin to accept them into Russia. Leader of Transnistria, Vladimir Krasnosklevi, or something like that, said he is initiating the Congress because of pressure from Moldova. The oppositionist, Gennady Chobe, is sure that they received such an order from Moscow. The very next day, on February the 29th, Putin is scheduled to deliver his address to the Russian Federal Assembly. So it is very likely that we are now looking... Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. We are now looking at a very possible... I mean, to be fair with you, right? This area isn't very big. It's very, very small. And I believe the total population of Transnistria, I don't even know, but it's not that much. Population of Transnistria. Now, one thing I want to point out here is that, okay, that's their flag. Some pictures I've seen it with the Soviet one thing. I thought it said that they had the Soviet thing, but maybe it didn't. That's their flag, and the funny thing is that actually used to be their flag with the Rush to Kazakhstan. You ever remember that? I think so. I don't know. But yeah, so 469. That was in 2018. 169,000. But the thing you have to think about is why they're doing it, and if you're questioning why they're doing it, it's because of their location. I mean, what Putin is begging on is not only is it a political win, because, you know, having somebody join your country sort of boosts that you are doing the right thing or something like that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But one other thing here is that, of course, the location in front of Ukraine here, for Transnistria to open up another front, it's hard to really say if they would, because they don't have the numbers, or do I believe the equipment. But if Putin is willing to, you know, sort of, if Putin is willing to do that, then yeah, or if the leaders of that said country is willing to throw away their country for that. That's Air Force One right there. All right, we got Air Force One up. So one other thing here we have right now, just in, a sun ejects the third X class. X class is actually the largest solar flares that we have in the universe within 24 hours. X 6.37, the most powerful flare of the current cycle. So the sun flares are getting bigger. It's not something unusual, something we've seen before, but it's something that's happened here. All right, there's some other things here, but the Paula or something like that, flagged and British cargo owned vessel MV Icelander, yeah, I don't know, was struck earlier today while transiting west through the Gulf of Eden by Houthi anti-ship ballistic missiles, causing a moderate damage and fire, which has since been extinguished, as well as minor injuries to at least one crew member. This is the second British flag vessel to attack in the region within the last week, and the first Houthi attack to cause any kind of casualties. Now, if you're here because you want to hear me talk about what's going on with Belarus, I'm sure I'll be able to find it to you just in a second here. Because yesterday we had a talk about that as well, but there has been, of course, a search in some kind of little bit of a weird thing here. But Belarus has basically said that Belarus has said that they're betting on Poland to attack themselves. They're saying that USA and Poland is getting ready to attack Poland to cause it and to blame it on we got a B-52 up, to blame it on Russia and Belarus. The truth is, that obviously means that he's about to do something stupid. Obviously, when these leaders and these dictators say that they're about to do something, that means that they're about to do that says that somebody else is about to do something, usually means that they're the ones about to do something. So yeah, so it's not too much of a great time we're having here today. I can tell you that much. There's a lot of stuff happening here. I actually got the official tweet here from the 21st here, doing a major meeting today featuring national intelligence and law enforcement agencies across Belarus. President Alexander Lukashenko claimed that Polish and U.S. intelligence agencies were preparing provocations against sorry, civilian centers in Poland, which will then be blamed on Russia and Belarus. This is basically terrorist attacks that he's saying that the U.S. and Poland is planning on doing. Poland, he says that Poland is planning on attacking themselves, which is just ridiculous. I mean, that why would Poland invest money in attacking themselves? It's absolutely ridiculous. That'd be the most horrendous thing and stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's whatever, right? Oh, look at that. But yeah, so obviously that's what we're talking about right now, and that's what's going on. So, but usually that means that either Putin or Belarus or Lukashenko is about to do something very stupid. So yeah, but the latest battlefield advancement still around here in the Andavika direction, as you can see. There's actually been some smaller push-ins from the Ukrainians here in the city. In this little border city here, there's been a little bit of a pushback here. Not anything big, but there has been some major pushes in Andavika here again. Actually, it appears that they are trying to take this area here. I imagine they're trying to conduct another blitzkrieg. As you can see, this area here could be another point they're trying to push in from, eventually maybe, to take this area. Don't think this area is going to be held much longer. So yeah, this is getting quite serious here, and these areas here is what's becoming dangerous for Ukrainians, because these areas, especially to hold hold a U formation, requires a lot of effort, a lot of equipment, and when you don't really have that, then it really, ask the Soviets. I mean, they could tell you holding such a formation there is quite a harsh effort. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit while for them to do that, but yeah. There's a straddle tanker doing rounds out just outside Mexico here. That's interesting right there. And then there's a B-52 over California. Well, I've never seen that before. I mean, listen, obviously all this is just exercising, but there's a lot of planes up today right now. There's a lot of planes up, actually. There's a lot of tankers up. There's a C5 Galaxy there. That's a big boy. Got another one over there. That's another tanker. Some tankers. Oh, nothing extreme here, but at the moment we do have Air Force One up. So yeah, that's something. Looks like it's heading back to Washington. It took off from California here in San Jose, actually, or yeah, San Bruno. Base called. What's that base called? Point San Bruno. Is that what the base is called? Probably. Big base. A lot of them. What we have over here, straddle tankers and all that kind of stuff. Not a lot of activity over Europe right now. That's interesting. Ooh, look at that. Lysian 62. That's a Russian plane taking off from... where did that take off from? Didn't take off from anywhere. Just turned on its transponder over to Saudi Arabia. Something there. A drone over here as well. But other than that, nothing really here. Let's see if we got some uploads here from this guy to bring us up to speed. Do we have that? No, we don't. But that's fine. Master into fundraising of United Monarch, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what we have. They did actually say, and I want to bring this out here, they did say there was going to be a naval attack today. Didn't happen. Maybe it happened. I haven't heard of it. Russia attacked on the NATO border with Romania in the Odessa region of Ukraine. Ooh, interesting here. Like the rainy port of Dunab, Dunab, I can't pronounce that. Delta. Romanian President Verna is possibly candidate for next General Secretary of NATO. Okay. Russian attack on the NATO border with Ukraine. So this is Romania right here. So they keep attacking here in Romania. They really do. The war will come to Europe. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That's right. This is actually a very great representation of what's happening. Ukraine is keeping off all the Putin, and this is Europe here living their best life. Ukraine falling apart underneath our feet because we won't refuse to think that giving them equipment is something that appears to be good time. 886. Welcome in. 800,000 shells previously reported by the Czech Republic will be delivered from South Korea and South Africa. Current contract value $2 billion. Okay, so 800,000 shells previously reported to Czech Republic will be delivered to Ukraine. 800,000 shells going to Ukraine. Good times, good times. I am somewhat like in the peril of maybe the shells aren't enough anymore. I think what we really need to focus on is the tanks. What Ukraine needs more than anything is the tanks. Main battlefield weapons and stuff like that to keep off the Russians. That's what they need. That's what they really need. Yeah, so that's what they really. If you missed what we were talking about here, just go back to the start, or I'm sure I'm gonna re-mention it a little bit later, if anything. Oh, Ukraine Air Force destroys 3 Russian air defense missile systems. General Staff. Let's take a look at the Kyiv Independent here. Take a look at the latest stats here from today. Let's see if we've got those here today. Do we have the latest stats from the Kyiv Independent? We should have them. They should just be pretty far down because they upload them pretty early in the day. That they do. There we go. 1,160 soldiers. That's a lot. 35 APVs. 63 vehicles and fuel tanks. That's a lot. And 1 more plane as well. That's 7 planes in total. As I told you yesterday, they took out that one as well. 7 tanks. Now, one thing I want to mention about every time there's a dip in tank destruction, usually means that there's a dip in advancement on the field. Not advancement, but sort of pushes, or because they have less. I'm conflicted. 41 artillery systems, 36 UAVs, 5 MRS systems, 8 special equipment, and 2 anti-aircraft warfare systems. And that number right there has just been upped by 3 as well. So that's pretty good. There's no way to say here, guys. Yes, you did think that Russia has been noted to be able to perhaps be able to replace their numbers in 5 years. But the equipment level and the stuff they're going to be able to get is going to be nothing. Trust me. A lot of people keep saying, oh, they're going to be able to replace their stuff. Listen. The stuff they're going to be able to replace with this amount of sanctions they have on is going to be purely mechanical. And in 5 years, Europe is going to have caught up on the production field. So trust me, if anybody's going to win, it's going to be Europe. We always fall back in the start. We always take a step back in the start, but we always kick back in the end. That's what we always do. The Russians do the same thing. It's funny. Europe and Russia always do the same thing. It's funny when you think about it. The Russians, because they always fight for like a year. And they do really bad for a year. Take a look at World War II. Like the Russians for the first year, the first part of World War II, and when the German invasion, they did really bad. At the end, they did really good. They always spend a lot. They have a lot of people killed, and they always do good in the end. Because what they do is they just have more. Like that's the Russian tactic since fucking 1860, 1806, and 1811. Fucking. Since the Napoleonic Wars, or even maybe before that, the Russians' tactic has been the exact same as it is now. The idea of simply having more and simply spending more. It's a ridiculous tactic, but it's true. Yeah. Fatica's news here. Financial Times. Some Moldovan opposition officials says Transnistria plan to make a formal request next week for Russian to annex Transnistria. So there we got it. We got a pretty official complaint here. According to our data, the information that on February 28th, the authority of Transnistria will allegedly ask the Russian Federation to annex them into its composition. And it is not confirmed at the moment. Ukraine in military intelligence sets. So, yeah, Yurius direct speaks according to our data, the information that on February, Financial Times, some Moldovan opposition officials say Transnistria plan to make a formal request next week to Russia to annex Transnistria. This, by the way, this is what we're talking about. If you're wondering what we're talking about, this is what we're talking about here. You can post sanctions on Russia-like entities accused of destabilizing Moldova. The U.S. imposed sanctions against 6 individuals and pro-Moscow parliamentary group accused of destabilizing, undermining, or threatening the Soviet sovereignty and independence of Moldova. amid ongoing fears of Russian hybrid attacks against the small state of bordering Ukraine. Do I seriously think that Transnistria could take on Moldova and win? I don't know, but I'm seriously to tell you right now, Moldova is not in any way a military power to be reckoned with. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Moldova is really down on luck when it comes to the prospect of money. They have nothing. They have 2.6 million people living in the country, so not that much. And then, of course, the second part of it is the Moldovan military. It consists of how many soldiers do they have? So here you have it. They have 6,500 professionals. Moldova army forces consist of 6,500 professional personnel, while 2,000 conscripts are being recruited annually for compulsory military service. So it's true to say, yes, they do have a lot more conscriptionaries and a lot more land to give out. They do not have a large army. And the problem for Moldova, and I've explained this before, there's some countries that could afford to not have. It's laughable, which it's true, but you also have to take into account the swindling amount of economy, the economy they have. It's not really their fault because there's been a lot of Russian. It's Russian fault if you can believe it. It's Russian's fault. They have been meddling with their economy for years. They really have. $13 billion, which is less than Georgia and Macedonia, which is like North Macedonia, sorry. Yeah, so it's not, it's on the rise, which is a good thing. As you can see, since the Soviet Union, it's been on the rise, so that's a good thing. They're not going down. Look at all those countries, former Soviet countries, all going up. But they're nowhere near the numbers they need right now. And I'll tell you what, the Moldovan country, with their amount of equipment they have, it's not a lot, I hate you, Russia. Well, yeah, but the factor is, it is Russian. It is Russian fault. It really is. It really is. There have been a lot of incorruption there. But one thing I want to point out about Moldova is the amount of equipment they have is also swindling. And one I've explained this before. That's one of the things I've explained before is that Denmark could afford to not have soldiers, yet we have 50,000 soldiers. We could afford to have less soldiers in Denmark. That would actually make sense, and then spend more money on our air force and naval force. That would make sense. Now, one thing I want to point out Moldova is they don't have a naval force. They don't have any ports. They're landlocked. Well, not really. I mean, they got a port because they have this river here. This river. I mean, it's technically not. Is it dried up? No, it's this river right here. They technically have a river that they border, and it's not, like they do have a river and they do border a river, and it's like they do have some ports, but it's not anything. I mean, they have rivers in the countries and all that, but they don't have direct sea access, which is right here. They do believe they've had some sea access right here, which is one of their ports there, but nothing really crazy here. So they're pretty landlocked. One of the things is here that you have to remember is, obviously, they have thought, oh, we have big boy Ukraine next to us. We've never had to have an army. But then, of course, they had these guys, which was the Transnistria, which has been next to the border. They needed to up their army, but they haven't had the economy to it because Russia has wanted to keep them undermined. And that's what I've been saying. Putin has been playing this game since 2000, the year he became into power. He's been undermining the Moldovan economy and everything to try and keep it off from actually being able to grow enough. The Romanian, the Bulgarian, I mean, all these economies, massively bad economies, and they haven't had the time to simply break free of that. And that's the problem, of course. Most countries, what we're seeing a trend off in the world is that these countries, the countries that's been around for a while, have had time enough to figure out how they're able to make money, how they can make money, and all that blah blah blah, right? But these countries who are so new, I mean, many of these countries are new, relatively new, and these countries haven't had a long time to sort of figure out their infrastructure. So yeah, even though the entities of Romania, Moldova, Macedonia, all these Bulgaria, all these African countries, and India, these guys have been around for so long that they've been able to figure out it for so long, but because of colonial rulers, there's been sort of a disruption in the idea of it. So yeah, that's part of the problem here. But yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say anything else. But it's like what you have to think about is some countries that doesn't border a direct threat, like I've said, Denmark, Czech Republic. All these people, they don't have large armies because they don't have a threat next to the border. But we have Finland, that they have a larger army. You don't think it, but Norway does have quite a good army. It has a lot of naval power, which is really going to help it in a war scenario here. But it's been makes sense for Ukraine to have an army, which they've always had an army of like 200, 300,000. Moldova simply doesn't have the economy, yet they have an enemy right here. So I don't think they're going to be able to. And the problem about Transnistria is that they are very much war people, like they love war. I mean, they've never gone to war, but they have this sort of a mentality of wanting to go to war, and they've been training and blah blah blah. I don't know if they have more numbers than what than I don't think so, no. But the factor is, here you have it. So the structure of the armed forces are composed of 4,000 to 5,000 active duty soldiers. So about equal numbers. Actually, Moldova probably has more when you think about it. They have about 50 to 20,000 personnel in reserve, plus some Russian soldiers. There are Russian groups and there are Russian soldiers entities in Transnistria, which we know have been actually recruiting soldiers for a while. So there's been recruitment centers set up. So there are Russian entities and Russian soldiers set in Transnistria. So they also have that going for them. And the problem, of course, with Moldova is nobody would come to its aid because Moldova is not a NATO member, it's not an EU member, it's nobody's member. So there isn't a lot of reason for anybody to think they would come to their aid. Romania might think for a second about it, but if Russia decides to do something, nothing's really going to stop them from trying to. So yeah, it's crazy, but it's the truth. Romanian foreign minister on the annexation threat. It is really a problem. I don't think it will take a concrete form, but remain a hybrid operation. This is a situation similar to 2024 in Romania. The Caucasus, his name, right, said in reference to the annexation of the Ukraine Peninsula 10 years ago after unmarked Russian soldiers entered the region. He added it might be possible for Russia to try and move forward in this direction. He adds, Russia will very clearly consider this a test of our solidarity. They will gauge the reaction west of the border, whether this is from a solid turn or not. But the problem, of course, as well, as you can imagine, the problem that we have here is that if Russia technically owns this country, there is no one who could stop them from flying into the country. One problem they would have is they would have to fly over Ukrainian territory, and they probably would not be allowed to fly over Moldovan or anything like that, or Romanian. So yeah, it's hard to imagine that Romania or Moldova would allow them to fly over the border, but they might try and test them and do it anyways. And they might try and get people or soldiers actually into Transnistria, because if they get enough numbers here and they're allowed to do it, I mean, we're talking about a pretty sizable second front. This is quite a sizable sort of area here. This is obviously, I mean, listen, I've been doing this quite a long time now, or well, not long, but I'm doing enough to know that 209 kilometers in front is a lot for Ukraine to all of a sudden turn a lot of troops around to be able to handle this right here. But of course, what I'm imagining is probably wouldn't it probably wouldn't be very strategically smart of Russia unless they were prepared for it for a while. So, and if they were to start preparing for it, then Ukraine would also start noticing. They would probably start, figuring out on their own. So, I mean, and then of course, what's really the bigger problem here is that Moldova could be a threat. So whatever they're trying to plan to do, or whatever it is their plan is, if it's just a political move to try and gain more land mass, or if it's just blah blah blah. But yeah. The United States has landed its first aircraft on the moon since 1972 as Odessa, something like that. Nova C moon land produced by intuitive machines equipped with several NASA science payloads have touched down tonight near the moon's south pole and is now transmitting a faint signal.
All stations, this is Mission Director on IM-1. We're evaluating how we can refine.
Of course, NASA has like names. Like, look at that. That's NASA all over. That's NASA for you right there. Flight. Was that flight? I didn't read that. I don't even know what it says. Dynamics.
What we can confirm,
yeah,
without a doubt, is our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting. So, congratulations, IM team. We'll see how much more we can get from that.
What a celebration, guys. You just landed a thing on the moon. I like the reactions, like, yeah, we're great. Woo. Like very undermining the reaction there. You landed something on the moon. Wow. Can't believe it. A stingray got pregnant despite not having a mate for 8 years. It just forced a pregnancy upon itself. Mutation. It's a goddamn frog. It's a mutation. It's mutating. Oh my god. It's mutating. You can't believe it. You won't believe it. It's mutating. Alright, anyways, let's see. Do we have it? We do have him. Hello, welcome in here. Let's watch Zelensky here for 5 minutes. Let's watch him.
Українки. Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Сьогодні почав день з проведення ставки не лише щодо оперативної ситуації на передовій зараз, але й також з інших стратегічних питань. Зокрема, підготовки нашої держави до переходу на F-16. Була спеціальна доповідь про це, усі параметри щодо першої партії літаків, конкретні терміни постачання, необхідне технічне та інфраструктурне забезпечення. Деталі позитивні. Цього року наші повітряні сили стануть сильніші. Це фундаментальні завдання. Конкретно це захист від російських керованих авіабомб, загалом нові можливості на лінії фронту. Звичайно, були на ставці сьогодні і доповіді головкома, розвідки, міністра оборони та інших урядовців, які відповідають за озброєння. Особлива увага кільком напрямкам – Авдіївському та Південним. Сьогодні ж провів зустріч з представниками наших держав-партнерів і з членами дипломатичного корпусу, які працюють в Україні. Дуже важливо, що в нашій столиці, в нашій країні триває нормальна дипломатична робота. Навіть, можна сказати, рутинна робота між українськими дипломатами та іноземними представниками, між нашими інституціями та міжнародними організаціями. Я вдячний кожній державі, кожному лідеру, чиї представники в Україні та з Україною. Це одне зі свідчень віри в нашу державу, поваги до українського народу і довіри до нашої сили, до нашої здатності досягати українських цілей. Говорили серед іншого про необхідність чіткої та принципової співпраці заради реалізації формули миру, заради більшої безпеки і для України, і для кожної з наших країн, і також заради внутрішньої трансформації України. Ми працюємо, до речі, також над тим, щоб розширити наше представництво у світі. Минулого року були відкриті нові посольства України в Африці. Загалом був досягнутий більший рівень взаємодії з лідерами та країнами на африканському континенті. На цей рік ми плануємо додати більше активностей і потенціалу співпраці, зокрема, на напрямку Латинської Америки. Говорив сьогодні з президентом Європейської ради Шарлем Мішелем. Дуже конкретна розмова, максимально про наші спільні інтереси усіх європейців. Я вдячний тобі, Шарлі, пане президенте, за цілковиту конструктивність. Перше, абсолютно неприйнятна ситуація на кордоні з Польщею. Поінформував про нашу українську ініціативу негайної зустрічі на кордоні наших представників України та Польщі, а також Європейської комісії. Я вдячний за підтримку, готовність докласти своїх зусиль для того, щоб якнайшвидше захистити інтереси європейської безпеки та повернути усій ситуації суто правовий характер. Домовлятися варто, і пропозиції України цілком конкретні. Друге, обговорили з Шарлем, з паном президентом, наші зусилля щодо європейської інтеграції та необхідність якнайшвидшого затвердження переговорної рамки для України, затвердження державами-членами Євросоюзу. Мета абсолютно раціональна. Вже в першій половині року, навіть до червня, можемо почати переговорний процес. І це буде найкращим сигналом усім, хто не вірить в Європу, що наше єднання дійсно міцнішає. Ще одне. Сьогодні відзначу одразу кілька країн за пакети підтримки для України. Данія. Оголошено вже 15-й оборонний пакет. Боєприпаси, дрони, посилення наших воїнів. Дякую, ціную, що усі наші домовленості з МЕТЕ, пані прем'єр-міністром Данії, ідеально реалізовуються. Велика Британія. Є оголошення про підготовку пакету. Зокрема, він додасть сили для відбиття російських штурмів. Є пакет від Нової Зеландії, який посилить нашу логістику, розвідку, зв'язок, а також за підтримку у тренуванні наших воїнів. Чим більше з Москви лунає божевільних заяв, тим більшою повинна бути наша сила. Тільки сила нашого захисту життя, нашої здатності досягати власних цілей може повернути Росію до стану хоча б часткової тверезості. Російське божевілля повинно програти цю війну. Ми зробимо усе для цього. Дякую всім, хто б'ється заради України, працює заради України та допомагає. Слава Україні!
There you go. Thank you very much, Zelensky. Slava Ukraine there, definitely. Let's Slava everything, right? Except, something else. I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that. This is going somewhere with that. I wasn't expecting my mouth to go there. You got an E3. Oh my god. No. Oh, it's landing? You're landing? Oh, you're just turning. All right. What do we have? Oh, that's an E4. That is not Air Force One. Air Force One is actually turning somehow, some reason. The weird fight. That's a weird flight path to take all of a sudden. Why are you? I think it's glitched. Yeah, I was about to say it's like a weird fight pattern to take all of a sudden. We got a doomsday plane right up next to the Air Force One. Don't worry, that's not too unusual. Don't worry, not too unusual. There you go. Still got some more of this Transnistria stuff here, but of course the moon landing has just taken place here. So just got this in here. Nuh-uh. So somebody said nuh-uh. Let's see if we get. Do we have something about? No, nothing else there. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of stuff coming in right now. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. I mean, always stuff interesting, right? Romania signals that it is not happy with the rumors that Dutch PM Mark Rutte is on track to become the next NATO Secretary General. Romania instead today okay, that's what it said. Today officials announced that they will nominate their president Klaus Luhannis. Because what? They're not happy about it? You know, this is the guy that we should have. This is the guy who's going to become the NATO secretary. Taking a look at him, I don't know if he's competent. He's Dutch, so he's tall. He knows what he's doing, right? All Dutch people kind of know what they're doing. They smoke a lot. No. But they, but they, I mean, you know, like he's Dutch. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Come on, you know, like look at the guy. He's got sunglasses on. He looks cool. Come on. The Transition Congress of Deputies, the ISW assessment. The Transition Congress of Deputies will likely either initiate a new referendum seeking an actions by Russia or propose or demand actions on 2006 referendum. It has already staged. Putin will likely welcome whatever action the Congress of Deputies takes, although he may stop short of acting on requests for immediate annexation if Congress makes such a request. Why not? Oh yeah, okay. All deputies Moldovan transition will meet on February 28th. Watch out for it. It's going to be a great time. They're going to vote on being part of Russia. So let's hope they don't. I mean, imagine if they do. I can imagine that it's going to change some things. I mean, Russia is doing some things here that's not really so fun for everyone else, is there? We got some tankers. We got a group of tankers over the North Sea right now. Check this out. Got a group of tankers. That's tankers there. Took off from Ireland. Took off from England. It's now over the North Sea. So we got right here. This is Air Force. That's the EB-4. That's the Doomsday plane right there. As well as I saw that one on the ADS-B. Not too much else. No, not too much else. Yeah. I mean, if you missed some things, you might want to go back in the stream a bit. We just talked about some things over there. Oh, they actually got a group of 4. Okay, so this is a... Oh, my God. No, we got a B-1 Lancer. This right here is a American B-1 Lancer. This is a heavy bomber. I think it can carry the biggest payload of all. Look at it compared to a human. It's huge. Oh, my God. This is a B-1 Lancer being escorted by... Yes, it is. It's a B-1 Lancer being escorted by a bunch of tankers. It's a U.S. bomber. Let's keep an eye on that, shall we? Where are you guys going? That's what I wonder. To the Middle East, maybe? Maybe they're escorting to the Middle East. Could be. They could be calling in some more artillery for the Middle East. If you get what I'm saying. That's actually interesting. I know you're going to say, is it really that interesting? And I'm going to tell you, yes, it fucking is. Her name is Lola. I've got that in my mind today. I know, been too much on the YouTube scrolling. Lots of stuff here. That's interesting. That is interesting. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. Post it. No, I'm not. EU Foreign Affairs Chief calls on EU countries to provide Ukraine with shells to change Ukraine's situation. Okay, thanks, man. EU Foreign Affairs Chief? What are you talking about, EU Foreign Affairs? Who is these people? Like, EU Foreign Affairs, this country... I mean, I know the EU, but do these countries all of a sudden have power over us? I mean, what the fuck does EU Foreign Affairs mean? What are you talking about? We're part of your we're part of your union. We're part of your EU union. We're not having you do our affairs for us, are we? I don't get that. Being part of the EU and all that stuff. I want to be part of the EU because it provides certain eligible things and travel and blah blah blah. But you know, and the perks of being part of the EU. I mean, you can take a look at what happened to England after they left EU. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. They're not doing too hot right now. So I wouldn't want to leave it, definitely not. But sometimes I'm wondering just how much the power of the EU have gotten, and the fact that we have an EU chairman, like how much power does she possess nowadays? You know, that's sort of the thing that I wonder sometimes. All these kind of things, there's so much stuff nowadays, so much stuff nowadays. Not really anything else going on right now. Just gonna wait for stuff to come in. Somebody got anything? No. The U.S. Department of State is sanctioning is doing more sanctions on Russia uh because of Alexei Vanev or something guy died, so they're putting more sanctions on Russia. Whatever. Lavrov plane refused to be refueled in Brazil because of sanctions. The Russian foreign minister who attended the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro did not manage to fly from there to Brazil for a meeting with Brazilian President Lula da Silva. According to Aero Telegraph, the reason is that the government's Lycian 96, on which Lavrov is flying, is running out of fuel, and the Brazilian operator refused to refuel the plane due to the danger of falling under secondary U.S. sanctions. According to the media reports that the Brazilian side eventually offered Lavrov to fly to the meeting with the Silva as traveling companions on the plane of the Brazilian Foreign Minister, Mario Vieira. It is assumed that they would allow Lavrov to arrive at the meeting on time, and the Russian plane would pick him up from Brazil after refueling elsewhere. Right. 72% of Americans want Ukraine to win a war with Russia. 24% answered don't know, and 4% of Americans wants Russia to win. Huh. Those numbers add up. I was about to say, do they add up? They do. No, wait, they don't. No, they do. Yeah, I was about to say, no, 72. I thought he said 70%. I was like, no, wait. No, but they do add up. They do add up. Yeah. Would you prefer to come to next meet or separate? Get the guy from Deutschland, from Dutch. I don't want some goddamn Estonian. People voting for the Estonian guy to become. Maybe this Dutch guy isn't so great after all, because people don't really seem to like him. Putin commented on Biden's word about crazy son of a bitch. Putin believes that such reaction only confirms that his previous statement that it would be better for Russia if Biden wins the U.S. elections. Earlier said that for Russia's Biden would be a more preferable U.S. president. It is not like he can say to me, Voldaya, well done, thank you, you've helped me a lot, we understand what is happening there for the domestic political point of view, and this reaction is absolutely, can't read that, which means that I was right. You ask what's best for us, I can repeat Biden, he says. Putin is playing the long game, isn't he? You ask who's best for Russia, and they answer Putin, and everybody else says fuck off, and everybody says no. We won't fuck off, because we have. Jesus Christ. It's just. Canada is ready to buy 800,000 shells. Is that what you're saying? Iranian missiles going to Russia? Oh my God, yeah. That's something we saw yesterday coming as well. Iranian missiles going to Russia or Ukraine. No, Russia, yeah. That's it. Well, they are going to Ukraine just after. being sent to Russia. It's been oh my god, that's disturbing footage right there. I'm actually there's a video on social media right now of a very burned out human being being eaten by pigs. So, woo. Just went to Ukraine border from the across the Polish border. Looks like a MiG-29 fighter jet just sent to Ukraine today from across the Polish border. No, they sent a MiG-29 to Ukraine. That's going to do a lot. Well, I mean, in terms of air power, could do something. Anyways, I don't think I have anything more for you. There isn't any more news. Keep repeating stuff, but that's not important. I mean, there's really important stuff happening right now. No, not really. Anyways, so have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. We'll be back again tomorrow, hopefully with some more exciting stuff. And then, of course, we're gonna steamroll through, and hopefully we're gonna get to the 8th of February. It's 28th of February, and we can get to see if the Transnistria becomes part of Russia. That'll be interesting. B1 Lancer, if you got Flight Trader, go check it out. Still over the North Sea. Not gonna track it all the way through today, but probably going to the Middle East. I'll keep an eye on it. But have a good night, Dave. Thank you so much for stopping